So it's more advanced things, right? It's not about, oh, it's visually appealing. Oh, the user will like it. It's not drifting away from that. So, being a manager, you are overseeing, you are managing people. You're not just managing people, you're managing tools. That's what makes you a product manager, right? So these are just the different roles or career opportunities we have in the field of UI UX. But please, if you finish a course and you have like a portfolio, once you start doing projects, you have your portfolio. I'll show you one of my designers' portfolio. It works with our company, right? When you have that portfolio, you're already a product designer, right? So even if there's a job application for product designer, you can just try and apply and say, okay, yes, this is my experience, this is what I've done so far. Jump out to those opportunities. All right, so let's go on. What are the platforms that a UI UX designer designed for? What are the platforms? Many of us can identify this. This is like a wristwatch, like an health band that is checking your heart rate. It's a UI UX designer that designed this screen. This one too is a UI UX designer that designed this. This one too is a UI UX designer that designed this. Right. So I'm going to show you something, and we're going to go into installing Figma, right? So that I can show you the difference, because all these things, these platforms we have now, they are what we call design screens in Figma, right? So I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to take you through the process of installing Figma now. Okay, so if you are with your laptop, I'm going to copy this and paste it on the group as well. Just go to Figma. Let's do it here. Let me go to Figma.com. All right. So this is the tool we are using, Figma. Figma does everything from wireframing to designing, down to prototyping, what we call prototyping. We're going to look at what prototyping is. Don't worry, right? So Figma does everything. So this is not the download page. So let me look for the download page. All right. Where can I download? Where can I download? Sometimes you just have to set it both the Figma download. I want to show you the download link so that you can start installing it on your system before we open it up. Figma download. You'd have to create an account with them too, right? Download app. So it's a Figma community file download. All right. So I'm going to copy. No, this is not what I'm talking about. Figma file download. Oh. Okay. That's all right. So this is it. Okay. Now they have a mobile app, right? But the mobile app that they have, you cannot, design with it. You can only see, even when I send you a Figma file now, I'll send you the link, because when you create a design, you can like share the link to someone. So when I share you the link, you can only view what I've shown you, right? You can't change it. That's why you must have a laptop. So I'm going to send this link to the group. So if you have a laptop, you can bring it out now. You can bring it out now, and we can walk through downloading this. I already have it's installed on my system. So you have to create an account with them, right? You can sign in with Google, sign in with your Google account. That's what everybody does, right? So let me paste that. So we can just download that, right? So it's the desktop app you are downloading. So if you are on a MacBook, you can just click on desktop app on MacBook. Or if you're on the Windows, you can click on desktop app for Windows, right? Just click on it and download it. All right. So once you are done downloading, you see an interface to, log in, sign up with Figma, just complete that. If you're having issues, setting up your Figma, you can just let me know, right? So just so not to waste our time, I'm just going to open Figma and open an interface for us so that we can see how it looks like and how, building all these platforms, how we can, build all these platforms I've just mentioned now, how does it work if I want to design it? So I want to show you something practical, but we are not going to do much practicals today, right? So let me show you that. So my Figma is loading. So once it has loaded, I will share the screen. Okay. All right. So let's just go on to go back, go back, go back. I need to go back to my slides. Okay. All right. So now let's look at the different platforms now. We have mobile apps and websites. So designing responsive websites and mobile apps for iOS and Android. We have two platforms now. We have what we call the iOS platform and we have what we call the Android platform. And Figma has different screens for all these platforms. I'm going to show you. Don't worry. And then we have web-based software, what we call SaaS. What do we call SaaS? It's not like SaaS, like our SaaS. SaaS. It's called software as a service. Software as a service. What we mean by software as a service is software that is providing a service, right? Can be an e-commerce website, can be an educational website where you go and you register for a course like Udemy. That is a service, right? But now the service is now being presented to us as a software. So when we say SaaS, all these terms, you need to know them as UI/UX designer. Software as a service. All right. So we also have what we call digital dashboards, all those financial analytics. You will see charts up and down, just bar charts, different charts, pie chart, everything is just chart, right? Then we have what we call project management dashboards. How many of us know what Notion is? Have you heard of Notion? I think Notion is a very brilliant example of what project management is. How many of us have used Notion? Nobody here. People need to be using tools. So Notion is a simple example, right? Okay, good. Mr. Ernest have used it, right? Notion. So you can drag and drop. We call them project management tools. You can use them for planning. You can use it for planning. That's what I call project management tools. Then you can use it for e-commerce platforms and e-commerce and platforms. So designing online stores, specialized platforms. That's what you do as a UI/UX designer. Then you also design wearables, right? And emerging tech. That is designing interfaces for wristwatches, virtual reality. They use UI/UX designers for that. You might not know. No, don't think small, think big, right? Even me, as I'm here like this, I'm thinking one day I will work for Rolls Royce. I will say it, right? So just think big, right? Don't restrict yourself to just mobile app and web app. I do everything. That's the way I want you to think. All right. So let's go down. We also have cars. I told you now there's some cars now. Their car dashboard have like screen interfaces. So the UI/UX designer can design for those screen interfaces. Even in drones and robots, right? The UI/UX designers can design what we call control apps, flight telemetry screens, mission planning tools, real-time safety alerts, all those anything that has to do with managing flights, the flight of a drone, the flight of an aircraft. UI/UX designers work in those fields too. We have embedded systems and hardware UI. Now this is talking about designing interfaces for smart devices like your smart fridge. Don't you know it's a UI/UX designer that designed the interface for your smart fridge? Okay, you don't know yet. Don't worry, you soon know. So it's a UI/UX designer that design those interfaces. I don't know why my Figma is refusing to go on full screen. Okay, so let me just share it like the way it is, and let me just present it. Mm, okay, so that we can see all these screens I'm talking about and how Figma looks like. Okay, so I'm looking for the Figma app. Where are you now? Okay, let me just share my entire screen. I'm sharing my entire screen now. So you'll be seeing my system. So let me go to Figma. All right. So let me just open a new file. I think that will be better. Or just ignore everything you are saying. Let me zoom back so that you don't see all these things. Let me push it aside. All right. So you can see the interface of Figma. Can we all see it? If you can see it, you can just give a thumbs up or you can just talk because now I'm not even seeing I'm not seeing your, all right, I'm seeing your thumbs up. Okay. So this is, you can see that why I say that you cannot use your phone. Like, how do they want to do all these things with phone? Do you understand? If you need a laptop computer, you need a desktop computer for UI UX. All right. So when you go to the design, you can see we have two columns. This part is showing you the title of your project and different layers you have. We'll go to all those things tomorrow. Then this side here is showing you some of the elements you have. Like this is your text, this is text color. This thing here is text color. Now, when you go to design, you just press F. You press what? F. When you go to your design, let me go back again. When you go to your design, just press F and it will show you frame. Sometimes we call it screens, but in Figma it's called frames, right? But we as designers, we call it was screens, right? You can see that Figma has for phone. Have we seen this? It has for tablets, it has for desktop, it has the presentation. Let's say you're presenting to an audience like PowerPoint. It has for watch. You can see watch. You can see Apple Watch series, Apple Watch this. It has for paper, nice one, like A4 paper, A5 paper. You want to print out a design, right? You can do that in Figma. It has social media too. Let's say it's the Twitter post. You can design here. You can do your graphics design here in Figma, right? Then we have the Figma community. Figma community is just like the way we are an academy now, and the academy is made up of the students and the trainers, right? Now the Figma community is made up of Figma and those people that are using Figma, the UI UX designer. That's what the community is all about. And you can get plugins, and we call them plugins, right? I'll explain what plugin is in the next class. So I don't give you too much. I'm just showing you the interface, right? I don't give you too much too early. It's as if I'm trying to force akamu inside your mouth as a child, right? So I want to take it slowly so that you can catch on. All right. So if you now want to build you now ask yourself, what am I building for? Am I building for a phone? Am I building for a desktop? Am I building for a watch? That's the first thing you ask yourself, right? That's why I'm teaching you different platforms. And to do that, I said, when you come to the other side of your Figma, that is the right hand column. When you get there, your mouse is there, just press F on your keys and you can see all these frames or all these screens, right? So we go to phone and these Figma people, they are very selfish. No, they are not considerate to Android users. You see all the frames that they have there. So iPhone, even iPhone 17 has been added. But we just have, I don't know, it is well, it is well. We Android users will be all right. All right, so now you can click on iPhone 17. When I click on iPhone 17, you see one small white thing has drawn up for me. What is this thing that has shown? So to zoom in, most times you see UI UX designer with mouse, right? Because there's a certain way you zoom in. But to zoom in, you can just on your keyboard, on your mouse, you can put your two hands on your mouse and you just drag in as if you're dragging in. That's the way I zoom in, right? And this is the mouse. I can just drag it here, right? So this is now a screen. Anything I will be designing now, I'll be designing it suitable. This is what we call responsiveness. This is now suitable for iPhone 17 screen because iPhone 17 screen has somebody wants to join the call. Okay. All right. So iPhone 17 screen has its own this is what we call the width. It has its own height, right? So also when we want to do what we call prototype, I'll just give you a brief preview. What is prototype? Prototype is now how would I explain prototype? Okay. Now when we want to build cars, there's what we call a small version of the car, right? They'll create a small version of the car. We'll call it a model. They'll create that small version of the car. Anything that they want to change, they want to change that small version. Why? because changing it in the bigger version will be more expensive, right? It's like what went on with this food company. Is it small? What's it called? SM something, right? They produced really bad products, and they had to withdraw it from the market. They lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of money, right? So because it's expensive, making changes to your design when it has already been built, right? That's why we had UI UX. And UI UX we can prototype. That is, we cannot give this thing like put it in a device, put in a device, and see if I click here, where does it go to? If I click here, where does it go to? So if I go to prototype now, you can see I went to prototype. It's just right here on your left side. Your left side, your right side, you have design, you have prototype. If I go to prototype now and I click on this play button, right? I have to click here. When I click on this play button, it's going to it's going to load up for me, rather. Okay, so that screen is taking time, but it's loading up. Okay, so you can see now it has loaded up this, right? So let me go back. All right. So let me go back. Okay. Let me go back and show you the one that I did. I'll just show you a prototype very quickly. I've dragged it upwards very well. All right, so I've seen it. Okay, so this is the prototype that I can just play. Okay, so I'm just going to click on play. All right, so you can see this now, right? This is what we call a prototype. When I click on login, you see it takes me to the what login page, right? When I click on register, or rather sign up, it will take me to the sign up page. This one is not connected yet. So when I click here, it's supposed to give me a drop down. It's connected to give me a drop down. This is just a simple example of what prototyping is, right? You have created a design now. You now connect those different screens that you've created, those different designs you've created, you connect them together. And by connecting them means when I click on this button, it takes me somewhere. When I click on this thing, it takes me somewhere. When I click on here, it takes me somewhere. That's what we call prototyping. It's like designing interactions, right? So let me go back. All right. Look at it. You can see several lines. Hope we are seeing my screen. If you are not seeing my screen, please, you can speak out. Right? Are you seeing this screen? You can see several lines connecting to each other. Several lines connecting to each other. This is just an example of prototyping. Several lines are connecting to each other. So in the next class, we are going to be building this from what we call wireframing to desktop design. We are going to be building it. Like I'm going to be teaching you how to build this. I'm going to be building it from scratch. All right, so that's what we're going to be. In the next class is going to be very practical, intensive. Okay, so that's just to show you a brief preview of what it's like designing a screen. All right, so Ernest, you have your hands up. You want to ask a question? Okay, I'm waiting. Or you don't want to ask the question again? All right, no problem. So let's just go on. So tomorrow's class, come with your water because like it's going to be all round practicals. So let me just try and go through the theory completely so that we can have a smooth class. Okay, this is the wrong screen I'm presenting. Okay, I have it open for 2 times. Okay, so let me close this one. All right. So now let's go on to the stages of design. Right? Now, let's go on to the stages of design. I'm going to run through it. The first stage of design, now we're looking at design, we're looking at UI, we're not looking at UX, the stages of design from the UI perspective. We have what we call wireframing. And we've explained what wireframing is, a rough skeletal version of what our design is going to look like. That's what wireframe is. So wireframe is a simple visual guide that represents the skeletal framework of a website, a digital product. Think of it as the blueprint. Think of the wireframe as the architectural design of a house, right? That's what the wireframe is. Now we have two types of wireframes. We have what we call the low fidelity wireframe. The low fidelity wireframe is just showing you there's no text, there's no text, there's no buttons, like it's just so plain like this. Now, if you look at this low fidelity design, it kind of resembles our actual design. I'm going to put our actual design on the screen now, like what we are going to be designing tomorrow. So let me put that up on the screen. Look at the actual design. Look at it very well. You can see that the low fidelity wireframe was trying to like represent this. That big rectangle we had here was this entire line. There was another big rectangle we had here, right? That was this image. There's another big rectangle we had here. That was this make remote work. There's another big one we had here. That's what we call the leading paragraph, right? There's another big one here. There was another big one here. So just rectangles and using different shapes to represent the different elements in a page. Now, I got this page from Front End Mentor. Front End Mentor is a platform where you can get varieties of design. It's good for beginners, right? Anybody that is learning web, like front end web, anybody that is learning UI UX, right? And you're just starting off. Then when you start off, you start by trying to recreate other people's designs. That's how I learned very fast. Try to recreate other designs before you can now sit down and that creative, because from seeing so many things you have that exposure into creativity, right? I'm not so much of like a very creative person, the way some people have meant her, right? So I learned like this. I learned little, right? I went to Front End Mentor. I'll send the link on the group. They have a variety of designs, so you can just pick one and say, let me try and create this the way the screens are. Let me try and create it. Then, as I'm seeing designs, I am seeing, no, this is the way a website should look. I will not be able to, on my own, create my own design. Even creativity is borrowed because the UI UX, there's something we call mood board. Mood board. So that your mood board is like an inspiration collection, right? If I want to build a road, I will go and look at China. I'll go and look at Dubai. I'll look at how their flyover is. I'll look at how their road is. It will not be stored in my mind. That's what a mood board basically is. You are trying to build a design for a company, for a business. You go online and you see different designs. And the ones you like, you just pick them, and you just arrange them in one part of your Figma. And over time, you look at them and say, I love this thing about this one. I love this thing about this one. Let me add this to my own. Let me add this to my own. And that's how we are able to craft really brilliant designs, right? So hope you are with me. All right. So very briefly now, we're going to take our attendance. Nobody even reminded me. Would have left this corner, I would have forgotten. All right. So if you're not your last class, if you look at it's going to pop up on your screen, right? Once I paste it on the chat, it pop up on your screen. Just click on it and sign your attendance. You can copy it on your browser. Just go to Chrome, open your Chrome, open a new tab, just copy it into the tab. So the chat is loading. All right. So I'm clicking on send. It doesn't want to send. Okay, it has sent. I'm going to shorten it so that it's easy to copy. Let me try and shorten it so that it's easy to copy too. Okay. So just go on there, fill in your name, your email, like the name you fill in if you're not your last class, right? Fill in the name you want to appear on your certificate so that we don't make mistakes, right? The way you want your first name, middle name, and last name to appear, that is exactly how it should be in the certificate. And we are doing certificate for a lot of people, cannot go back and start changing and correcting. Oh ma, my first name is in my middle name side. Oh ma, You know, yeah. Oh. So just fill it, take your time and fill it, right? Click on the checkbox, and that's just basically it. So while that is going on, let's just continue, right? So this is the low fidelity. So the low fidelity is the basic type of wireframing. It's very simplistic. Even your paper and your pen can surpass, right? It can be like this. The paper and the pen. You can draw it out on your paper and pen, with your paper and pen rather. So this is just how it looks like, right? So the low fidelity, any wireframe you have, usually done in the grayscale. What do you mean by grayscale? It means we're using gray and white, gray and white. You can see any wireframe I'm going to show you now, you're going to see gray and white, gray and white. That's how we draw out wireframes. Right now, we have the high fidelity wireframe. This high fidelity wireframe, you can see it now. It's now like resembles that our page. Like it makes more sense now. Okay, now I can see anywhere you see this box, yeah, it simplifies an image. This rectangle with what do you call it? Rectangle and lines that crosses it is what we call is an image. An image can also be represented like this. One tool that people use for wireframing is Adobe XD. The reason why people use Adobe XD for wireframing is because Adobe XD comes with all these elements. If we are doing it in Figma now, I'll teach you how to draw it. We have to draw it, right? But it's Adobe XD. It comes like an image already, so you can just carry it and paste it in your design. Carry it and paste it in your design, and that's why most people prefer using Adobe XD for wireframing. But in this class, we are just going to be using Figma for everything, right? So this is an high fidelity wireframe. High fidelity wireframe now has text, it has buttons, and it has a representation of images. So when you see something like this, just know it's an image. When you see something like this, just know it's an image. When you see something like this, just know it's an image, right? Now, in the next class, what we are going to be starting from is I'm going to be starting from by breaking down a website, right? Because in a website, there are various sections. Those things come with the website. You don't need to go and change it. Is the norms. You don't need to go and do your own. So this part of the website is what we call hero. Hero. I'm just going to type it out. Hero. 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 We have the hero section. The hero section is the very first page of a landing page of any website. You have the hero. The hero is one big page. It covers the full screen, right? And what is that hero telling you? It's just a short description of what the business is about, right? So you will see things like, okay, you know that now this particular website is a remote job kind of website. Why? It's saying make remote work, get your team in sync, right? So is a website that caters for remote workers, right? That's what it's doing. You will now understand that. Now, this top part of the website is what we call nav bar, or that is the short form, nav bar. But the full form is navigation bar. So when we come in the next class, we are going to be looking at all these aspects. There's another thing that we call the footer. Footer. The footer is the last page of the website. The very last thing, that thing you have at the bottom is called footer. So we have hero, navbar, footer. So these are some of the things we'll be looking at. I'll just destructure a website and tell you these are the various aspects. If we now go into mobile applications, they have their own thing. With mobile applications, there's one thing we call the splash screen. From splash screen, we have onboarding. From onboarding, you now have the home page. We're going to be looking at all these things because you need to know them to be able to, craft designs that are intuitive to the users. Okay, so we'll come to the end of this class and I'll just give room for questions now. Do you have questions? Because I just want to give you 5 minutes. Some of you that want to join the other class so that you can relax. Okay, do we have questions? Do we have anything to say? Just be free with me. Open up, be free. Do you have, if you don't have questions, I'll ask you questions. Do you have questions? Did we enjoy the class? Come on, response. If you are still in your class, you can thumbs up and say, okay, we don't have questions. Okay, thank you, Israel. And tomorrow we will start. Thank you, Joel. So tomorrow we'll start with Figma and see how we can Okay, should I admit this person now? Somebody wants to join the call by 4:55. Should I allow the person? I cannot allow the person. So once it's already the end of the class, I can't allow you in. Just as your lecturer will not allow you in. I'll just tell a little joke. When I was in school, there's this lecturer, the physics lecturer, right? You know, once he comes to class with one big padlock. As he's entering the class, as he's entering the class, he's locking the class, the gate without big padlock, and he's with the key. So if you're outside, that's your business. There was a time he was coming, he almost used his car to like hit me. And me, I was running. Say, no, you must not enter the cars before me, right? Because I know he's come with a big padlock. So please let's try and come early to classes so that you can be let in on time. All right. So thank you so much. All right. Andrew, you want to say something?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Please, I
Okay.
have I have a question.
All right.
I the on the part where you were talking about responsiveness. So
All
you
right.
made mention of like there are different screen sizes. We have for desktop, we have for tablet, we have for mobile, and then there was something you made mention on Figma. You said that they have for different type of model, different type of iPhones like iPhone 17, iPhone 6, thereabout. So I want to confirm if we are to do a screen, like if you are to make a design for something like iPhone 17, is it going to be the same thing for the iPhone X screen? Are they going to be the same, or are they going to be like little differences? Does it mean you have to like design? Does it mean you have to design for each of those breakpoints?
Okay. No. When you are designing as a UI UX designer, you design a web version. So you can pick any part of the desktop because we have different sizes of desktop. Pick any part of the desktop and design it. Pick for any phone and then design for that phone. So what you will now put in your report is that this design is adapted for this screen size. This design is adapted for this screen size and width. That's what you put in your report when you are giving a presentation, right? It is not left for the developer to see, okay, this is how it looks on web. So the developer we introduce, there are different elements like flex, grid that enables the developer to design that version for the web and it will work on any web application, right? Then there are different elements and there's a way the code structure works, right? That the developer will use for the mobile, that it will look presentable for any mobile. So what you are doing is to give the developer how it will look on desktop, how it will look on mobile. Then if your client will want you to design a tablet version too, you also design the tablet version with any tablet size. You are not to design for all the phones in this world. Just pick one and design for that. Just pick one desktop design for that. Just pick for one tablet and design for that, depending on what your client wants you to do. Okay, so for a single web
Okay, I
application,
understand. Thank you, ma.
yes, yes. So we have different desktop sizes. So you just need to pick one size, one screen size, and design for that screen size. Is the developer that will now there's a way the code is structured that the developer will structure the code in such a way that it is responsive for all desktop on its own end. That's the way it works. All right. I didn't really get your question, and this call is about to end. Okay, so I think we have 19 minutes left. All right. So you get, Joel, I don't get your question. For a single web application, you get like three screen sizes. Okay, let me just open my Figma again. All right, so let's go back to design. And what do we press? We press what? F. Right? Now, when you want to design, what I'm saying is this: your clients might want designs for a phone and say, okay, I also want the designs for a website. So please give me designs for websites, that is desktop rather. Give me a design for desktop. Also translate that desktop design to a phone design. Look at what I did here. You can see this is the desktop design. I call it desktop design. So for all desktop computers, it's the designer that now knows how to suit it. Okay. So I don't know why my screen is doing this. Let me try and close it up. All right. So I have to close the window. Please stop sharing. Okay. So let me close it and open it up again. Mm. But hope you understand. Joel, do you understand? Okay. Is it that you design for a desktop screen and also design for a tab view and a mobile view? Yes. So you design for a desktop, how it will look on desktop. You design for how it will look on mobile, and you design for how it will look on your tablet. When you are charging two, you also charge for three, for giving them three different views, right? Because most UI UX designers that I work with, they only design for web. It's not left for me as the web developer to now think of how it will look like on mobile. I will not think on my own for how it will look like on tablets. There's a way when we start the web development class, you see things like that. Okay, so we are already eating into the time of web development. No, your web development trainer will do justice to that. And tomorrow also, I would also answer this question properly. All right, so please let's port over to the web development class if you're interested. I'm sure they are waiting on the other end. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.